Welcome back to the Reset episode 75 with me, Sean Tucker, as your host. You know what I've come to realize? We become the people we spend the most time with. You've probably heard the old saying of you are becoming the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I honestly, I love this because when you look at it's all environment, right? Who you spend the most time with is who you become. This isn't just people. This is everything. Think about the environments you spend the most time in. If your majority of your time is spent in a corporate environment, well, you're probably someone who would be considered corporate, right? It's pretty simple. But when it comes to being a healthy person, are the people around you healthy? If they're not, well, I would maybe consider looking at who you're surrounding yourself with. It's not just people, it's animals, it's everything that goes into the environment is currently responding to you, right? And it's either you're changing or you're holding on to resisting that change. I would much rather be in the former, change, because change is always happening. There is absolutely no certainty about what's happening in the next moment. You can only experience what's happening in this moment. And so when you're looking at making improvements in your life, when you're thinking about becoming fitter, becoming stronger, having more money, etc., etc., you really have to look at who are you spending time with. Is it someone who is literally living week to week, paycheck to paycheck? They are someone who reacts when it comes to meal times. They lose track of time. They're completely disorganized. And they're just struggling. If those are the kind of people you're spending time with, it's probably no wonder that you haven't really been able to make progress. I know for me, I've had such wonderful privilege to spend time with people who value me, who I value and respect a lot as well. And in recent times, these entrepreneurs, these people, it's just amazing what your thinking does when you're around these kind of people and you're spending more and more time with these people. You're spending time with people that you enjoy, not only being around because you know them, but because they are of incredible value to you. It's not just coming out of this old respect, it's coming out of this newfound respect within you that's now being mirrored and shown to those people, I suppose, that you now get to spend more time with. I'm fortunate to be part of this little entrepreneurs kind of group, and they're all dads, and I've actually started a group myself. So if you're wondering how do you get traction and how do you get around these people, well, you got to be around them, right? And if you can't find them, create a spot for them. Create a spot for people like you. I started this fitness for dads, free fitness for dads here in Mulgrave in Melbourne about 6 or 7 weeks ago. And it's been fantastic. Every week we have had at least 8 people on average showing up. Not every single one of them are dads. It is a men's club. Not every single one of them are dads. 95% of them are. And it's just good to be around those people who have the same kind of problems that you have. Because, you start to think differently. People present with different, solutions and also just different thinking, which enables your thinking to think beyond what you're currently experiencing. And so you see the whole world, you see every single problem that you have through a different lens. And you can start to move from this kind of like survival thinking to this path of just gratitude and grace. And I know which path I prefer to be on. It's certainly the latter. The pathway that, you're pursuing, and you have leaders and mentors who are leading the way. They're leading the industry. And they're giving you space to become a thought leader in your own right. Like, that is pretty damn cool. And I'm sure if you're listening right now and you're thinking, can I do that? Can I be that? Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Yeah, I've started getting podcast guest inquiries for this very show. Every single day I open my inbox, there's at least 8 podcast guest inquiries. They're wanting to get on my show for me to interview them. Like how could that opportunity have been created 75 days ago? Yes, I had a podcast, but I wasn't being sought after to get on so that people can get interviewed by me. That wasn't the case. It was me asking people to be on the podcast. It was rare or rarer for people to find me and say, hey, I would love to be on your podcast. And coming from that place, I guess being in the headspace that I was thinking this person is maybe trying to get something from me. But now I see it differently because I'm around different people. And the thing I'm noticing now is it's of mutual interest for me to interview someone on this podcast. And the best part is I get to choose. I get to choose exactly who I interview. And so if you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, I'd love to be interviewed on his podcast. Well, that's great. Send me an email. You can send it to selfbuildhealth@gmail.com. Or you can send it to sean@seantucker.com.au. That's probably even better. Because when you do that, well, now I know who's listening, first and foremost. But secondly, if you're a coach, a business owner, an entrepreneur yourself, and you're listening and you're like, I wonder if I can get on his show. I don't know, because I haven't chosen you yet. But, I'm only going to interview a certain number. There's going to be a limited number of interviews that I carry out every single week or every single month or every single year. Because I know the potency of this podcast. I know that this is called the reset for a reason. I'm the visionary behind it. I am the pioneer. And I'm here to guide you to a daily reset so that you can get as much value and impact from whatever I say in these podcasts. So, are you around the 5 people that you want to become? That's my question to you. And if you have found value in today's episode, I want you to share it with just one person. That's how we grow organically, and I would love so much for you to share it with one person. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode.